This week on Milk Street, we travel to the Igra Rama restaurant in Tel Aviv. We start with a couscous recipe, but it's prepared just like risotto. Then we make a panna cotta with yogurt, also with some Middle Eastern spices. And finally, we make a spicy meat pizza called Lahmajoun. Stay tuned as we explore the new cooking of Israel.
Funding for this series was provided by the following.
For 25 years, Consumer Cellular's goal has been to provide wireless service that helps people communicate and connect. We offer a variety of no-contract plans, and our U.S.-based customer service team can help find one that fits you. To learn more, visit consumercellular.tv.
I'd like to be the first to welcome you to Tel Aviv at a local time. So
Perfect day. Oh. Schedule today?
So I would like to take you to the Old Jaffa. So welcome. Yeah, you know, we have the vegan scene, the gay scene, the beaches, the history, the food. We have everything as a big city has, and sometimes even much more than that.
I am serial pickler.
So people come here and what happens? Here we go.
The idea was opening a table with sour food, inviting people to come and eat, drink, and tell a sour story. Didn't dare to ask, but I really want to hear a sour story.
I've got a lot of them.
This is Carmel Market, which is the main market of Tel Aviv, but of all the central of Israel.
We say the same thing in Vermont. Lahmajoun.
We are in Igra Rama. It's all about local food, local ingredients from the sea and from the earth and from the soul.
So what are some of the misconceptions, let's say coming from the United States, about Israeli food? In my mind, I had a vision of Israeli cooking, which is actually totally wrong. It's much more interesting, it's much more eclectic.
Yeah, actually, I think Tel Aviv food scene is like really special. Like we eat fresh vegetables. All the time you will have salad on the table. We eat together, you know, we love to share. Not every person take a dish. We call it like to open a table. We don't have like a tradition like Italian people. They cook for a few hundred years. But actually there is like food in this area 2,000, 3,000 years ago. And in the last 10 years, a lot of chefs starting to learn about it and about tradition, helping to build it.
Jewish people have come from all over the world, right? From Russia, from Eastern Europe. And they all have very different culinary traditions, right? So it all comes together here. Did that meld into a national cuisine, or it was still depending upon where your family came from originally?
Absolutely, yes. It's made to Israeli cuisine. You can see people originally from Russia, schug, spicy food, even the shawarma and the falafel. I don't think there is one guy, girl in Israel that don't like it, you know. Hummus. To speak about the Palestinian cuisine, right, coming from Africa and Arab country and Europe. Everyone brings their own food, and we learn how to do it here, you know, together, making it traditional, making a new Israeli food.
Let's talk about your cooking, for example. Let's take a dish. The couscous was great.
The Israeli couscous. We're making it more like we are making a risotto with a stock and a butter in the end. But the most important ingredient by flavor is like, it's called the tbecha. It's coming from the Tripoli kitchen in Libya. You take spinach or mangold leaf, and you just making them inside of the oil for like a few hours, and we use it inside of the sauce. Also, you have your sage and white wine, and of course, pecorino cheese that made here in the north of Israel.
You're a true believer, right?
For me, when I wake up in the morning, I think about food. When I go to sleep, I think about food. When I go home after a long day of 12, 14 hours, I can cook a meal for my family or for myself. For me, it's everything, you know. When I do food, I treat it like it's the most important thing in my life. And I love it, so...
You don't know how to do anything else. You're like me.
Yeah.
You're stuck.
Yeah.
You love it,
I'm
but
stuck, but I love it.
stuck,
I
but you
work
love
hard,
it.
but I love it, and there is nothing else for me, you know. My family, to have fun, and food.
Thank you very much. It's been a pleasure, and thanks for cooking for me.
Thank you, thank you.
It's really excellent. Thanks. You know, once in a great while when I'm traveling, there's this little dawn of realization, like, why didn't I think of that? And one of those happened at Igra Rama, where they cook couscous like risotto. And I'm going like, why didn't I think of that? I mean, what a great concept.
Pearl couscous, which is actually pasta, not a grain. So it's starchy like arborio rice would be. So we're basically gonna just draw that starch out and make a really nice creamy consistency. As you would with a traditional risotto, we're starting with some onions. They're cooking in butter with a little bit of salt and pepper. So I'm gonna add a little bit of garlic. This is sliced garlic. It's so much easier to prep. It's nice and soft by the time it cooks. You can smell it.
And it doesn't have a strong bite to it.
Right. When you mince it, that's when it gets really kind of pungent and aggressive. So we're gonna add the couscous here. You're gonna toast this like you would toast arborio rice. This will take 2 to 3 minutes. So we have some nice toasty flavor on our couscous. So I'm gonna deglaze the pan with a little bit of wine. Wanna just cook this until it's almost evaporated. You can almost see it's already starting to get kind of creamy in there. So I'm gonna add 3 cups of water. Now, usually when you make risotto, you would use chicken stock or even a vegetable stock. We found that chicken stock was actually a little heavy, so we preferred the water here. I'm gonna add a little bit more salt. And we're actually gonna cook the asparagus right in here, but we need to give the couscous about a 5-minute head start. So I'm gonna bring this to a simmer and let this go 5 minutes, and then we'll add the asparagus. You can see this is already starting to get a little thicker and creamier. It's still very al dente. It has another probably 5 minutes or so to cook, but it's time to add the asparagus. And you'll notice I have 2 different bowls of asparagus. We're gonna...
Yes, Lynn, I do notice there are 2 bowls there.
We separated the stalks from the tips. The stalks are gonna take a little bit longer to cook, so we've cut these up into smaller pieces. The stalks will go in now, and we'll cook these for about 3 minutes. And then we'll add the tips and let those cook for 2 more minutes. So now we can add in the tips of the asparagus. These are gonna cook for 2 more minutes. We want the asparagus to be really nice and tender, and we want most of that liquid to be absorbed. So Chris, this is al dente at this point, and we've absorbed all of that flavorful asparagus liquid. To finish it off the heat, we're gonna add a little bit of butter. I think when you had this in Tel Aviv, you had it with pecorino cheese. We went for a little bit milder flavor, so we're using parm and parsley.
It does have the texture of risotto, I do have to say.
I know. If you would hand me the bowls.
Man, is that good? The asparagus still has a little bit of crunch to it, which is nice for adding texture to the dish.
I agree.
And the couscous is not chewy, but it has texture. So this is couscous risotto with asparagus, an idea picked up in Tel Aviv at a small restaurant called Igra Rama outside of the Carmel Market. And this concept of using couscous instead of rice to make something like risotto is a great idea. It's a little bit lighter than rice, and it's a little bit less work. Just do it in a skillet and you're done.
Yeah.
So couscous risotto with asparagus, it's an A. You know, I visited Tel Aviv recently, and what I did not expect to find there was a whole new way of making panna cotta. So we were in Igra Rama, and the chef, Anir Ben Raphael, makes a panna cotta, but he uses yogurt. The other thing they did was, instead of putting a strawberry coulis on it, They used sumac, which is sort of a tart, a sour berry, which turned into a sugar syrup. So it had a really savory, lemony flavor on the outside and a sweet yogurt panna cotta on the inside. So we'll show you how to do it. We're gonna start with lemons. We zested one already, and now we're gonna take strips off this one. Just try to do about 8 strips going around. There we go. This is 1.5 teaspoons of powdered gelatin. We have 2 tablespoons of water, and we're just gonna let that sit and soften. And now we're gonna juice the lemons. Of course, this is a lot of lemon to this because we want that to offset the creaminess of the panna cotta. And we're gonna need about 1/4 cup of juice out of these lemons. So this does have a cup of cream, and to that we're gonna add sugar, of course, 1/3 cup of sugar, 2 sprigs of thyme. You wanna use a lot of thyme. And just a little bit of salt. And we're gonna use 4 of these lemon strips. And we're gonna bring this up just to a gentle simmer where the outside starts to bubble, just so we infuse the cream with those flavors. Meanwhile, we're gonna make the sugar syrup. So we have 1/4 cup of sugar, 1/2 cup of water. We have the other pieces of the lemon peel, and we have 1/4 cup of lemon juice, which is perfect. So we add just a pinch of salt, bring this up to simmer, and simmer it down to reduce this to about 1/3 cup. Now this is the surprise ingredient, sumac. These are small red berries. They're lemony, they're citrusy, and then they're a little bit sour. So we'll put that in. Meanwhile, the cream mixture has simmered. We added the gelatin, which has been softened with the water in it, and let that cool a bit. And pour that through a strainer to 2 cups of yogurt. This has to be whole milk yogurt, not Greek yogurt, which is too thick. And now we're gonna whisk in the zest of that 1 lemon, which we did initially. This yogurt's gonna make the texture really creamy. And now we're gonna divide it among 6 bowls or ramekins. So we're almost done. We have 3 hours in the fridge. To firm up, we'll strain out our sumac lemon sugar syrup and chill that as well. It's all set to go. Add the syrup just before you want to serve it. It shouldn't sit on top too long. So it has a wonderful lemony, zesty flavor from the sumac and the lemon, and the sweetness from the yogurt and the slight sourness as well. So sour, sweet, creamy, and tangy all together. So yogurt panna cotta with sumac sugar syrup. It's one of our all-time favorites here at Milk Street.
We're going to hummus Shlomo and Doron to meet Elad. He's the new generation, a new philosophy actually, a new way of eating the hummus. He's going to tell you about it.
Okay.
Okay? Please. Elad! Hey.
All right, so welcome to Shlomo and Doron. Shlomo and Doron is a hummus place, existed for 82 years. I'm the 4th generation here. For 2 generations, what was served here is only a bowl of fava bean stew with tahini, with a hard-boiled egg, with a little bit of lemon, a bit of spices and parsley. This was the dish that was served here for 2 generations. And what I'm doing is trying to make it a little bit more funky. Here we got the Mexican. It's hummus with a mesh of frijoles, which is Mexican black beans and fava beans, chopped jalapeno pepper, pico de gallo, and on top we have also nacho flakes, which gives the crunchiness.
Does anyone ever say you can't do hummus Mexican style?
For 2 years, people were laughing at my face when I said we have a special dish with hummus.
I think it's great.
Yeah, because you're not here and you're not part of the tradition.
Right.
If you were part of the tradition, it would look very, very strange to you. But the taste talks, and if it's good, it's good. You will tell me. Try it. Dip in. Don't be afraid. It's underneath all the ingredients, of course. Yeah.
I love the fact you took something traditional and pulled in a new world take on it. It's really great. Mexico, the Balkans, shakshuka, falafel, it's really good.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
Toda.
It was a real
Toda.
honor. We're honored to have you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Let's just go over here.
are you?
Shira.
Hi, nice to meet you.
Shira.
So this is your place?
Yeah, that's my place.
How long have you had?
Gonna be celebrating 10 years in November.
You made 10 years of running a restaurant?
We started as a hair salon 12 years ago, me and my partner, and we didn't really know how to cut hair. We used to cut friends' hair, and we were good at it, and we were good at talking to people, and so many people came and just stayed, and we used to serve them like a pretzel with sesame and labneh. And after a while, when we saw that people come and sit, and we said, why don't we open our own place that people can actually come and sit and pay for it?
Can I ask you a question? Is there such a thing as the Israeli taste, or it's such a diverse place that there's no such thing?
I don't know if there's such thing as Israeli food, because it takes from so many places.
Right.
We're immigrants
Right.
country like the States. One of the most popular dishes here is an Indian dish. Lahmajoun is coming. It's like the local pizza. The Turks call it lahmajoun. Here we call it lahma b'ajin. It means meat on dough, on pastry. Beef and lamb with yogurt, with local leaves.
Very good.
It's so simple, but it's perfect. Yeah, that's really good. I have to admit, I spent most of the afternoon at the Shaffa bar, and I ate almost everything on the menu, of course. But there was Lahmajoun. They have a lot of traditional dishes there, which is essentially a spiced meat pizza. It was delicious, and we thought, hey, you know, it's a different way of doing pizza. We'd bring that back to Milk Street because it was just so good.
And you might know I'm a little bit dough phobic. I'm not a huge baker, but this is so forgiving and so easy and really delicious that it's really helped me get over my fear of making dough. So to get started, we have some bread flour, 1 3/4 cups. We also have a 1.5 teaspoons of instant yeast and 1 3/4 teaspoon of kosher salt. So I'm just gonna blend this up really quick here. We have 3/4 cup of whole milk Greek yogurt. It helps the dough stay really tender and moist.
It also makes it easier to roll out. It's just easier to work with, too.
Absolutely. And then I have a 1/4 cup of water here and a tablespoon of honey. Gives a little sweetness, and the yeast loves that. And I love it too. I'm just going to get the motor running. We're gonna look for it to form a ball. Okay, Chris, if it's not forming a ball, we're just gonna add a little bit of water. So a tablespoon at a time is good, and I can just do that with the motor running. So you can see the dough has gathered together. You want this to be kind of tacky and stick to the sides of the bowl. So if it was not doing that, I would keep adding more water until we got to that point. I'm gonna get a little bench flour, because it is quite sticky and nice to work with. And then you just want to knead it a few times. And then we're going to divide it into 2 little balls. And you can kind of roll it until you get a nice little ball. I'll put them seam side down.
You don't look like you have dough phobia at all. I mean, you're doing fine.
So we are going to cover these with some plastic wrap, and then it's just going to hang out for like an hour and a half. You're looking for it to double in size. Now, while that happens, I'm going to go wash my hands, and we're going to make our meat mixture. It's time to make the topping. And do you know my favorite part about this topping, besides being super delicious?
That would be my favorite
I mean,
part.
that really is the second favorite.
Okay, what is it? Surprise me.
You don't have to cook it.
So you're going to put raw meat on the dough?
I am. Don't freak out. So we have some yellow onion, or white onion. I'm just gonna pulse this a few times to break it up. Now we're gonna add tomato paste, some drained roasted red pepper, and this really delicious spice blend of smoked paprika, red pepper flakes, some cumin, and then salt and pepper. It's really warm, a little bit spicy. And we're gonna blend this up. Now we're gonna add the raw meat. You don't want to blend it too much because that can actually make the meat get tough. So we have 8 ounces of ground beef here, and I have to say I've made this with ground lamb, and it is equally delicious.
Well, traditionally it would be usually lamb, right on the mission.
Now I'm just gonna transfer this into the bowl, and it can hang out in the fridge while the dough continues to rise. We still have about an hour. Check this out, Chris. Look at these guys. I'd like a gold star, please. And lucky for you, there's 2 balls of dough here, so like, why wouldn't I make you do half the work?
It's fine.
Yeah, gonna give you a little bench flour. We're gonna get these guys started on the counter, and then we'll finish them up on the pizza peel.
Okay.
You could also use an inverted sheet pan at home if you don't have a pizza peel. That's what I did. These are pretty rustic.
Okay.
We're looking at about like 6 by 12 inches.
We're gonna do a rectangle?
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, Chris, this is looking pretty good. So not too thick. It's a substantial dough. So here's your peel. Now we want to be pretty generous with semolina flour to start so it doesn't stick.
Am I putting mine on? Are we putting
Yes,
2 on a time or
no,
what?
no, we each have our own peel,
Oh.
and we put down a pizza stone, or again, you can use an inverted baking sheet, and we're gonna slide these right onto there so it gets extra crisp. Now we can top them. So you're gonna start by just brushing some olive oil. And now you're entitled to half of this, Chris. They gave you a little offset spatula there if you wanna smooth it out.
And I'm leaving edges, I assume, on this?
I
of
like
course,
to leave
like a
edges,
pizza?
yes. Okay, do you feel good?
Yeah, I'm good to go. I think that's pretty
All right,
good.
cool. So, gonna pop this in that oven, 9 to 12 minutes, and we'll be eating pizza.
Now, I don't buy any of this dough phobia nonsense. I mean, that looks great.
Thank you, Chris. We're gonna add a little bit of peppery arugula, and I'll let you, dress your own.
I mean, you don't want to, mess up the spiced meat with too many greens, right? I mean,
Right, I mean, it's a delicate ratio. And then this is just more of that Greek yogurt, but thinned a little bit with water. Adds a nice little tartness.
This is, by the way, exactly the way they served it at the Shaffa bar in Jaffa.
All right, Chris, since you were so smitten with my pizza, Lahmajoun, we'll have mine to start. I have no doubt that we'll make it through both of them.
Smells great. Oh. I'm very happy right now. It's perfect. It has spice, a little bit of heat, not too much. And the dough is crispy on the outside, but sort of soft underneath. So Lahmajoun, which is essentially a Middle Eastern pizza, you can find it from Istanbul all the way to Tel Aviv and Jaffa. Spiced meat topping, either beef or lamb, on what amounts to pizza dough. So if you'd like this recipe, all the recipes from this season at Milk Street, please go to milkstreettv.com.
Funding for this series was provided by the following.
For 25 years, Consumer Cellular has been offering no-contract wireless plans designed to help people do more of what they like. Our U.S.-based customer service team can help find a plan that fits you. To learn more, visit consumercellular.tv.